The Mirror has campaigned for the survivors of Britain's nuclear tests for more than 40 years, and after they were refused a medal 3 times on the grounds that there was no risk or rigour to their service at those radioactive experiments, we demanded a year ago that the Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, look them in the eye and sit down and listen to them. Today, he's going to become the first Prime Minister in a 70-year scandal to meet with nuclear test veterans, their families, listen to their stories, and hopefully we're going to be able to ask him to give them the medal and the wider recognition that they deserve.
Constituent Laura told me that Remembrance Sunday hurts. It hurts because there have been no medals for her granddad's service and the thousands of men involved in nuclear weapons tests overseas between 1952 and 1991. It hurts because studies of such veterans have shown increased miscarriages, increased birth defects, and the same rate of genetic damage as clean-up workers at Chernobyl. And it hurts because the UK is the only nuclear power on earth who has denied recognition. So I ask the Prime Minister, will he recognise nuclear testing veterans today and agree to meet them? The Leader of the Opposition has.
It's so important when you hear the story of the nuclear testing veterans, it's difficult not to feel emotional, and that's what I'm hoping the Prime Minister will feel today. Men and their families who over decades have suffered immeasurably as a result of the radiation that they were exposed to when they were doing their service. And hopefully the Prime Minister will see what they have suffered and understand that he has to firstly give them a medal, also memorialise and issue a national apology and commemoration of these men and their families. But more than that, research the impact that it's had on their families and descendants, provide an education framework so that people understand what has happened and it's part of our national history, and make sure that these servicemen and their families receive the financial and medical support that they so desperately need.
So this first began under Mirror editor Richard Stott, who at that time had read all the stories about what had happened to veterans and the testing that had gone on. And he at that point thought, this is absolutely horrendous that we've treated former service people in this way. And 40 years on, we still feel equally strongly about it. And nothing has improved in that time. In fact, it's actually got worse because nobody has, until this point, has done anything to show any kind of remorse even for what those people went through for their country.
So there are people who can't be here today for a variety of reasons, and I want to get as many of their stories told in this meeting as possible. This is Howard Elliott. Now, he was a highly decorated World War II hero, but at the age of 40, he was sent to take part in Operation Vixen B in Maralinga in South Australia, and he told his family he was told to pick up bits of plutonium that was blown across the desert by explosions. He died at the age of just 58, this incredibly healthy man, of stomach cancer that was so bad, towards the end of his life, much of his guts had been removed and he had tumours erupting in his mouth. This is Sharon and Margaret. Their father and husband Michael was at Christmas Island and Maralinga. He witnessed multiple explosions. Between them, these two ladies have had 21 miscarriages. They have 5 surviving children between them, all of them with problems. And Sharon was born with S-shaped bones in her legs. This is Julie Ross. Her father Archie was at Operation Grapple. He was a stalwart of the Justice campaign for many years after he started growing a third eyelid, a piece of skin between his eyelid and his eyeball, which had to be periodically removed and caused him a lot of pain and suffering. He ended up dying of a horrible form of leukemia, very aggressive. But his daughter Julie was born with a disfigured arm, which has just grown throughout her life and has obviously had a huge impact on her life and things going forward. I can't take these people into the meeting with me. We only have half an hour, but there are so many people who should be here, who've passed away and whose stories aren't going to be told. Hello. Yes. We're here to see the Prime Minister. He's expecting us.
That he was shocked with the information that had been relayed to him. The mere fact that I was there, I saw it, felt it, heard it, and I think it had a profound effect upon him. I've been fighting this on behalf of my son who's died, and I believe we as a family should have recognition for what we did for this country, giving this country the nuclear deterrent, and the mere fact that it's the Jubilee year and he has, the Prime Minister, cross-party support.
I think he needs to stay true to his word in that he will investigate all of the things we flagged around issues with medical records and things like that. And I want him to go and intervene. I want him to go and sign whichever piece of paper he needs to sign to make a medal happen and to make it happen in this 70th anniversary year, and for us to get that recognition for veterans by October.
I think he needs to set up some sort of independent research into the health of the descendants. And secondly, he needs to sort out the future health of the descendants, because there are problems and they need sorting, and there's going to be more problems for future generations to come. So the NHS needs to be prepared for this. They need to be able to walk into the doctors, say, my grandfather was a nuclear test veteran, I've got this, and it sets off a procedure. At the moment, there's no procedure. That's what needs to happen.
I think the standout moment was that Boris was quite shocked at some of the things that we told him, that he, especially with John, what John told him, being a veteran himself, he was quite taken aback, I think, by it. But also as well when we told him that the Queen had given the medal to the New Zealand veterans and not their own, which their own truly deserve.
This is just the first step in this process of getting it in front of him. We now need to continue the pressure. We now need to make sure that the whole world is made aware, that the Prime Minister of the UK has listened to us and understood and now knows about our story. It's no longer just got a report thrown in front of him from an MOD or from some other government department that just says don't talk to them because there's no evidence. He's actually sat and listened, and the whole world needs to know that everybody needs to sit and listen and to know what happened to these veterans.
I think we need to keep pressure up on the Prime Minister's office. He has given assurances that he's going to investigate the issue with medals, he's going to investigate some of the issues that relate to medical records around veterans and descendants, and I think we need to make sure that those actions happen as quickly as possible. And beyond that, I think we need to make sure that in time for the Plutonium Jubilee, if that's what you want to call it, we do see a moment of national recognition and acknowledgement of what these veterans and their families went through.
He gave us extra time. We had 40 minutes in total. The Daily Mirror was there, along with the patron of the BNTVA, Sir John Hayes, Conservative backbencher, Rebecca Long-Bailey, the Labour backbencher from Salford, and a group of a nuclear test veteran, a widow, and 4 descendants. And we showed the Prime Minister evidence of possible crimes committed by the state against its own servicemen. He vowed to investigate that and to open up the archives so we could finally get to the full truth. He's also going to reconsider our long demanded medal for heroes.